US National Security Advisor Brzezinski flew to Pakistan to set about rallying resistance. He wanted to arm the Mujahideen without revealing America's role. On the Afghan border near the Khyber Pass, he urged the soldiers of God to redouble their efforts.
We know of their deep belief in God, and we are confident that their struggle will succeed. That land over there is yours. You'll go back to it one day because your fight will prevail and you'll have your homes and your mosques back again because your cause is right and God is on your side.
Pashtun Protection Movement. Pakistani scholars should clarify their position. They support the Taliban in Afghanistan and disagree with the Taliban in Pakistan. They want Islamic law for Afghans, but for Pakistan, they choose democracy. If the Afghan Taliban are right, why aren't the Pakistani Taliban right either?
Independent Islamic Republic.
The sharp political division in Pakistan, with former Prime Minister Imran Khan in and out of prison. The powerful Pakistani military establishment is still calling the shots, whilst living and security conditions for the average Pakistani has become dangerous. The country is continuing to borrow money from the IMF, and there's fear of a total collapse of the country. These conditions might be containable for a little while, but the real problem is looming: the danger of partition, the partition of Pakistan. The danger that Pakistan faces as a nation comes from the Pashtun tribe, who don't consider themselves as Pakistanis.
बंगालियों ने उनके पतलून निकाले थे, मगर पख्तून और बलूच उनके चमड़े निकालेंगे.
The bitterness of poverty and resentment in East Pakistan erupted today in a kind of civil war. Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, the leader of East Pakistan, declared the region an independent republic, which he said will be called Bangladesh, the land of the Bengalis.
Pakistan isn't alien to armed struggle. It was in 1971 when Bangladesh, which was formerly known as East Pakistan, separated from Pakistan with the help of India. In recent years, Pakistan has witnessed ethnic Baloch militant groups resorting to armed struggle in order to establish their own state. The Baloch have continued to fight, but without much luck. This is because the Baloch movement doesn't have continued support. It's mostly India who cheers for them, and also other ethnic groups inside Pakistan tend to side with the Pakistani military against the Baloch. In contrast though, the Pashtun cause is very different. Today, voices of succession are beginning to grow. They're beginning to grow louder among the Pashtun tribes, the most powerful in the region in terms of influence and geography. The Pashtuns have a long history of armed struggle. It was this group who beat the Soviets and finally America in Afghanistan. The Pashtun tribal region in Pakistan has known a long history of conflict. The most dangerous was when American forces illegally invaded Afghanistan in 2001. The land of the Pashtuns turned into a home for armed groups led by Al-Qaeda and the Pakistani Taliban, making it a land of conflict.
We also have a history of kind of moving in and out of Pakistan. I mean, let's remember here, the people we are fighting today, we funded 20 years ago. Let's deal with the ISI and the Pakistani military, and let's go recruit these mujahideen, and let's get some to come from Saudi Arabia and other places, importing their Wahhabi brand of Islam so that we can go beat the Soviet Union. It wasn't a bad investment to end the Soviet Union, but let's be careful what we sow because we will harvest.
During the Soviet era, the Pakistani military played a very smart game. The Pakistani military and its secret services, the ISI, helped the Afghan Taliban against the Soviet with the blessing of America and Saudi Arabia. However, after the events of September 11th, 2001, Pakistan joined the American anti-terrorist coalition and provided support to American forces in Afghanistan, leading to the fall of the Taliban regime in 2001. After the fall of the first Taliban regime following the American invasion of Afghanistan, the Pashtun movement began to rely on the tribes of eastern and southern Afghanistan, and the Pashtun tribes on the Pakistani side had a large share in supporting the Afghan Taliban, which resulted in the emergence of the Pakistani Taliban in 2007. The Pashtun Taliban and the Afghan Taliban are quite the same blood, they speak the same language and follow similar Islamic and cultural teachings, and this is why they pose a massive threat to the territorial integrity of Pakistan, because it's only a matter of time till we see the Afghan Taliban provide full support openly to the Pakistani Taliban. Relations between Afghanistan and Pakistan are becoming tense. The Pakistani regime accuses Afghanistan of sheltering the Pakistani Taliban and providing them training centers on Afghan soil. Pakistan has gone to the extent of accusing the Afghan Taliban of sending Afghan militants in large numbers to attack places inside Pakistani territory. I don't think the Afghan Taliban are sending them to attack the Pakistanis. It's more due to the tribal system of the Pashtun people. The Pashtuns, who currently reside in tribal areas of modern-day Pakistan, don't believe in passports. They see Afghanistan as their land, so they cross between Afghanistan and Pakistan without passports and visas, and it's difficult to impose immigration laws on these people. There's also something called the Durand Line, which is meant to separate Afghanistan and Pakistan. Pashtun tribes completely reject this line. They call it illegal, so these people are free to walk into Pakistan as they wish, and this is a big headache for the Pakistani establishment. The Afghan Taliban have their version of Sharia law in Afghanistan, and the Pakistani Taliban want Sharia law on Pakistani soil. And what hasn't helped the Pakistani military and its establishment is the fact that the Pakistani secret agencies have constantly promoted prophecies to create terror groups, and they did it during the Soviet invasion as well as in Kashmir, the so-called Ghazwa al-Hind.
आपने जिन अहादीस का रेफरेंस दिया, अगेन बिल्कुल वाज़ेह बात है कि ये अहादीस एंड टाइम्स की हैं, अव्वलीन वक्त की नहीं है। आप जिस हदीस शरीफ का रेफरेंस दे रहे हैं कि मुसलमानों की एक फ़ौज हिंदुस्तान से तसादुम करेगी, उसके हुक्मरानों को जंजीरों में जकड़ कर लाएगी, फिर वो फ़ौज पलटेगी और शाम जाएगी और ईसा अलैहिस्सलाम के साथ, तो ये सीक्वेंस जो है ये पहले तो कभी नहीं हुआ। ये सीक्वेंस एंड टाइम्स का है, आखिरी दौर का है।
Ghazwa means military expedition and Hind meaning India, a so-called war prophesied in Islamic texts, mainly weak hadiths, which speak about an army rising from the east and establishing a grand Islamic state by imposing Sharia law all the way into India. The religious scholars and the Pakistani secret services and their affiliates have constantly promoted this prophecy since the American invasion of Afghanistan. It's helped to recruit people for these wars in a way of saving money and soldiers. What I mean by that is, why spend money on soldiers when you can get these fighters for free who are ready to die for a prophecy? The Pakistani military and ISI have used groups like Lashkar-e-Toiba in Kashmir. This group even declared Ghazwa-e-Hind on India. There's even another terror group called Ansar al-Ghazwa al-Hind, created by the Pakistani military and its ISI. So it's the Pakistani military, the Americans and the ISI along with the CIA who have created this ecosystem where Taliban groups, its factions, along with other similar groups, thrive. But today, it's a different story, with the Saudis moving towards moderate Islam and Pakistan constantly attacked by groups they've created. The Ghazwa-e-Hind fever is dying without support. If Ghazwa-e-Hind is meant to be true, then why isn't Pakistan merging with Afghanistan to turn into an Islamic caliphate? The Pashtun tribes and Pakistani Taliban want Islamic Sharia law in Pakistan. Why aren't the people of Pakistan ready to accept Sharia law? Why dream of imposing it on India, imposing it on Afghanistan, if you can't live by it yourself? Had the Ghazwa Hind narrative been true, it would have been narrated by many companions of the Holy Prophet and cited in multiple collections of the Hadith, but it's not. It's most likely manufactured in the period of the Umayyad Caliphs to suit and justify their own political purposes and expansionist designs, and today, these fringe beliefs are causing turmoil. The Americans took advantage of it, and so have the Pakistani military and its secret services. But who's paying the price? The average person in the streets of Pakistan and Afghanistan.